morning and welcome to Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 152. We had a great college football Saturday. Overtimes, close games. Looks like it's going to be an upset. No upset comes from it. So we're going to talk about our must-watch from the college football Saturday. And then we move to the NFL Sunday where not any game was close except for a team that finally gets their first win. And then we finish with Tim's best bets. Let's hear what his results are. So let's get it started.
Yeah, I was going to do a vertical jump there. Thank you, Socks.
Travel been to Indiana, and did Cover 2 Cook get you a good hotel?
Indiana? No, I'm in Louisiana. I'm here for Mardi Gras.
I know that this might be hard, but I don't know how much you remember Friday night since we left you damn near when you fell asleep.
I got my belly full, man. I was like, I warm covers and warm. I was like, I could go to sleep right now.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack Dorsey.
Final answer?
Yes.
Eh.
All right.
This is going to be a long fucking day.
Welcome back to Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 152. I'm here with Anthony and Tim, and what a busy Saturday it was for college football. Definitely thought there was going to be a lot of upsets, but didn't turn out that way, but still had some intriguing games. So let's look into our big takeaways. Tim, why don't you take me into your first takeaway for college Saturday?
We're going to talk about the Saturday night game, Texas A&M and LSU. For the Aggies, I think this was a big win for them. 8-0 now. First time they've been 8-0 in 30 years. Their offense is very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I will say also, too, it's a tale of two coaches. One coach adapted in the second half. One coach did not. And that one coach is his seat is on fire, and that's Brian Kelly. He did not adapt in this game. They got to do whatever they want in the second half, Texas A&M, and they just ran all over them. And he adapted. Elko changed some things up and got pressure on Nussmeier. They had the lead. I mean, LSU was driving. They were doing really well. In the second half, they changed a few things on offense and got Reed going and the offense going. They had that big punt return for a touchdown, and the game was over then. Yeah. It was over. LSU was 1 for 13 on third downs in the fourth quarter. That's not going to cut it. Like I said, the tale of two halves. Nussmeier's offense, he had rhythm in the first half, but in the second half, they made changes. I think Reed had nearly 100 yards of all-purpose yards in this game. I mean, they just clearly. This was a game Kelly needed to win. I'm sorry, he had to win this one. His seat is going to be really hot. Bottom line, I think the Aggies secured in the playoffs now. I think they have a bye this week, and then they go to Missouri. They still have a hard road ahead, but I think they look really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, I was definitely excited for the Aggies. They defied the odds. They beat LSU on a night game there. That's something you will take with you for the rest of time. That game is crazy. So very exciting for the Aggies. Anthony, what did you think of this game?
Yeah, I think when you talk about Brian Kelly's seat, it's definitely hot because not alone are you losing games, but it's the same thing every year. The offense is okay, but the defense is so bad. And that was a conversation going into this year. Well, they got a defense this year. They'll play good. They're not. And that Marcel Reed is a stud. He is a stud. And honestly, when he played against Notre Dame, that was the whole conversation. How do we slow him down? And it sucks because I know I'm going to talk about Notre Dame even in this. We should have beat them. We should have beat Texas A&M. And you look at how Texas A&M's played throughout the rest of the year. They got better as the games have gone on. But what won this game was physicality. They were more physical than LSU was. And that's Elko's style. He wants to be able to run the ball when he wants to. He wants to be able to get sacks on the other side when he needs to. And I would say this, Nussmeier, if I was a GM, I'm not taking him in the draft. I think there's been way too much hesitation coming from him. I don't know if it's because the O-line ain't there or whatever. I don't think I would be standing in line to get him.
I'd go after that Reed. Go after Reed before I go after Nussmeier. He's more Nussmeier's a pocket passer. Reed is the option, and that's what the NFL is going towards right now. I think I'd always jump on Reed before I would Nussmeier.
Yeah, but I think Reed's got another year. Because he was a true freshman last year, and I think he's a sophomore this year, so he might even still have another year. I don't know with the red shirting shit, though, so I don't know. But If he's still got another year, I would say you possibly might be talking about him and Heisman next year.
Most definitely.
That'll be good to see. He'll have a good head start into that, so that'll be nice. Anthony, what was your first takeaway on Saturday?
Yep, so I'm staying in the SEC with this game. Ole Miss
Okay.
versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma's got this great defense. Lane Kiffin's got this great offense. Ole Miss lost last week due to the fourth quarter against Georgia, right? Couldn't score. The quarterback struggled. 1 yard at one point. Well, you know you got a good quarterback when he doesn't repeat himself. Tristan went off in this game in the Trinidad went off in the fourth quarter. Lacey for Ole Miss as well is a stud. That running back is really good. Can't wait to pick him up in fantasy in the future because I know he'll go to the league. On the other side, John Mathieu, whatever his name is, I don't know if the hand is still a problem, but he looked bad, like bad. The fourth quarter was not good. Even the Hail Mary, which, you never really win off a Hail Mary. It's very unique. Didn't even get it to the end zone. Didn't even honestly give it a chance to even score in there. Oklahoma's defense was, when it gets a good offense, but they had to play better. This was at Oklahoma. Like, this should have been a game that Lane Kiffin, again, loses and things like that. Instead, we're talking about Lane Kiffin. He gets a contract extension or some crap I read today as well. That was a good Ole Miss win. I think Ole Miss is still in conversation as we go forward. Oklahoma out.
Yeah, this is another game that took me by surprise. I was not expecting Ole Miss to pull this one out. I thought Oklahoma had it, but I was definitely seeing what you saw too, as you pointed it out to me. But
yeah,
I could definitely see the quarterback, and they even draw it out on the TV, which helps me a lot. But I could see that he was improving from last week. So that's always a good quality to have, that you are learning on the job.
Yeah.
Tim, what did you think about this game? I know you and Ole Miss go way back.
Yeah, and I was shocked because they bounced back. Yeah. You're right. A Lane Kiffin team, if they get a stinker in there, they suffer for a couple weeks, and he did. Trinidad Chambliss I think he had one hell of a comeback. It just didn't seem like Oklahoma was in this game. Yeah. I mean, they were in it, but they weren't. I mean, just like today in the Denver-Dallas game, I didn't have really too much of a nerve because it didn't seem like Dallas was in the game. Yep. It was just a game, and it just seemed like this game as well. Oklahoma's just wasn't. I thought Mateer was improving from last week. He kind of took a step back this week. He's throwing balls all over the place, taking bad sacks. Yep. And I think that defense was probably gas at the end because that offense is pretty good for Ole Miss. So yep. I mean, it was a great bounce back win for them, and that could help them going down the line in the SEC. To make a run as a championship. I don't think they can because they have one loss, but it'd be awesome to see an Ole Miss. I think if you've seen an Ole Miss, Texas A&M, SEC championship, they might score 100 between the two of them.
and don't forget awesome. Don't forget about Alabama and Georgia. Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about other teams, but I think the other thing about Ole Miss too is when they gave chances for Oklahoma to win this game. I mean, the fourth downs, they didn't convert on those. There was times where it was just like Oklahoma has to bounce back. But I still think this hand, because he's just not what he was earlier in the season,
right?
Where he was more accurate and things like that. So, big win for Ole Miss though.
Yeah, most definitely. And yeah, you're right. The SEC is starting to form a little pack of we're all going together here. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Tim, I'll pass it over to you. What was your second takeaway from Saturday?
This was a good game in the afternoon, the Missouri and Vanderbilt game. This reminded me of an old slugfest. Just people, it was 3-3 at half. I mean, and we were expecting, they had game day down there, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have a lot of offense. Not so much. We didn't have a whole hell of a lot of offense. I think that quarterback going out for Missouri, Purvilla, getting carted off the third quarter, that kind of hurt him, Not looking good for him. I mean, they don't know that it's a leg issue. Missouri's defense held their own, not giving up a touchdown to the third quarter, which is good on the road, But the Tigers struggled on third down, 5 for 16. That's not going to cut it, man. And penalties. They had too many bad penalties at the wrong time in the fourth quarter, But for Vanderbilt, it was pretty much, this is how they win. I mean, they just slug it out for them. Pavi didn't have a really great game. This was kind of more of a defensive struggle. Mistake filled, still found a way to win. They're looking good at 7-1, still in the top 10. That 80-yard run by MK Young kind of sealed it. It really did. that got them up by 7, and it was pretty much over. Getting that 2.5 points, that was kind of I was kind of hoping that they would have pulled it out because I was getting the 2.5, and they didn't do that. So,
Yeah.
but overall, it was a good game. I think the defense, it was a defensive struggle. It was, I mean, they had one play where the guy intercepted the ball, and then they thought he fumbled it, and Missouri fumbled it, and Clark Lee's out there on the deal yelling at the referees, and it was a slugfest. But yeah, in the end, Vanderbilt looks really good.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anthony, what was your takeaway?
Yeah, I actually don't think Vanderbilt looks that good. I really don't. And I'm going to actually go back on that because I expected the way Mizzou played in this game that Vanderbilt, this wouldn't have been a close game. Because when they went for that 4th down and the quarterback gets hurt and things like that, that was not just a quarterback getting hurt. They lost possession of the ball as well. They came out with 0 points in that drive. That was a huge change in this game. I think when you look at Vanderbilt as well going forward, like if they're playing at home, they're scary. But if they're on the road, I just think when you have everything into your quarterback, you now have to, yes, keep an eye on him for a spy, things like that. But the passing, I just didn't feel like there was really well accounted passing plays for him, things like that as well. I just, Vanderbilt's in the top 10, I agree, but like they're going to have better or bigger games coming up as the time goes on. And I don't think they're going to step up for it. Final thing I'll say too is I'm done with Mizzou. I'm done. That coach can't win the big games.
No,
every time. And we talked about that before this or on the last podcast. I was like, if they lose this game, which how they played, they just didn't even look like they were ready for this game. So that's on that coach. And you could hear it in the press conference when he was like, the blame starts with me. All those coaches say that. But I really did blame the coach on this one.
Yeah, I remember the post-coach interview on both sides because Vanderbilt was like, it was messy. It wasn't our greatest, but a win's a win. And we're going to take it and we're going to celebrate it. So absolutely on that front too. You can focus on the tweaks during the week, but celebrate. And then, yeah, you're right on the Mizzou side. I mean, I really don't even know what the coach said, but you were like, he just can't step up to the big games.
And the problem too with him is he's had players that are worthy in this SEC and college. Like they get into the top 15 or the top 10 around there. Last year, I think they were in the top 12 or whatever. And they just come to a game where it's like, you should win this. They should have won that game. They should have. Vanderbilt did not play well. And if Missouri, and yes, I understand a starting quarterback goes out, but that was third quarter, if I believe. It was later in the game. Like there was so many times that they could have executed and got up in this game. Instead, they didn't. And I still go back to the coach on that one.
I hear you there. All right, Anthony. Well, why don't you take me over to your second takeaway from Saturday?
Yes. We're talking about another SEC because Big Ten ain't playing anybody. Right here, Alabama versus South Carolina. So Alabama goes through this gauntlet of how many teams and blah, blah, blah. Well, South Carolina hasn't played really well this year. Well, they gave them a run for their money. Thought it might have been a situation where the other shoe is dropped for Alabama. Finally, they were going to lose. Ryan Williams was a man last year. He was the man. And he's still good, but this Bernard or whatever for Alabama, scoring the last 2 touchdowns in the last 2.5 minutes in the game. South Carolina has, Sellers, and he has a good game, but that fumble killed them. It killed all the momentum. It killed the drive. And in all reality, South Carolina just choked. Right at the end, they just choked on this one. Alabama's the real deal. I will say this. Ty Simpson looks good. They have other options, other weapons outside of Ryan Williams, which, don't worry, there's going to be a game where we're going to be like, okay, we remember who he is. And if he hasn't done that yet this year, that's scary to think what this Alabama team's going to look like as it keeps going on. This is the post-Nick Saban era. I don't love it. Because Alabama looks tough this year.
Which is surprising because they didn't start out that way, but they had to learn from their mistakes. Yeah,
well, and you got to think his job was on the hot seat last year. And it was 1 year of, mediocre ball. And this year, the way it is, he keeps it going the way it is. I think they might be playing for a national championship.
Ooh.
Against Notre Dame.
Oh. Tim, do you agree with that? Do you see Alabama in the national championship?
If their defense can keep stepping up, their defense had that pick 6 early in the second, and that kind of changed a little bit of momentum because they were up 3-0 at that time, and they were driving, and then he throws that pick 6. Now it makes it 7-3. The whole momentum changed right then and there. And I'm like, oh, here we go, but they stuck around for a little bit, Yeah, that defense is really good, and he can get that offense, get Ryan Williams involved, like you said. Ooh, and we're going to get one of those Ryan Williams
Yeah.
games. I can guarantee it. And it will be just, and what will happen? It'll be in the playoffs.
Yep.
Because I can see them make the playoffs. I mean, they'd really have to. I think they have a bye, or maybe they play LSU in 2 weeks. I mean, that's not going to be the way LSU's playing. It ain't. So, I mean, yeah, they are looking really good, and they look like a team that could be reckoned with come playoff time.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I'll have to say too is Ty Simpson. He, as long as he doesn't turn the ball over, that's his job. He reminds me of a Mac Jones, right? Just get the ball to the playmakers, and that's all you need to do because they'll do everything else for you. Ryan Williams, when he does have this game, it's because he's not going to be the center of the focus, which is what the defenses right now do. They either throw the safety over the top or things like that. He ain't going to beat us deep. Well, then this Bernard and things like that step up. And it's like, okay, you now have to understand that there's other playmakers. Get over the top. I think Ryan Williams. And I wouldn't even be surprised if it's next week because he still had 7 catches this game. It's not like he didn't have a good game.
Right.
But there's going to be a 7 catches, 2 touchdown, 3 touchdown kind of game coming around the road.
Right.
Well, that'd be exciting to watch. Well, as you guys go through your takeaways, I'm surprised neither of you are going to talk about this Texas-Mississippi State game. So let me guys catch you up on this. This was my takeaway, okay? If you haven't seen it yet, you have to watch the series of unfortunate events for Brandon Walker on the bar stools. Oh my God. It was like you saw his high when Mississippi State is up 17 points in the fourth quarter. And then he runs down to the field and then it just goes downhill for him. Oh my God. But Texas would score 24 points in the fourth quarter to tie it up and take it into overtime. And then in overtime, Texas would score the touchdown in the Mississippi State side. And it was just so funny to see Brandon Walker on the replay just right there in front of him.
Yeah.
Tim, what did you think? Did you watch this game?
I watched a little bit of it. Arch Manning injury, that's kind of scares me. Didn't he go off with a concussion? That scares me because that's not good. Yeah, I did see a little bit. They also they had Brandon Walker at one tailgate, and he was eating this spicy gumbo. I thought it was gumbo, and he goes,
Yeah.
He's like, the footage of him on the side, and then Portnoy is trying to get a hold of him on the way home. Oh, and Portnoy just wants to dig it into him. And, fucking, I quit. I'm done. I'm not coming back tomorrow. It's hilarious. It was hilarious.
It was definitely funny. And then you saw Hardy and other celebrities out in the field too. So it was just very unfortunate, but comical for everybody else.
Right.
Anthony, what did you think?
You said Arch Manning's injury is concerning. I don't think it is. Did you see that ball that backup came in and threw in overtime?
True.
That was a hell of a ball. And what we've been talking about Arch Manning's problem this year is accuracy and consistency. Yeah. That has all been the problem. That backup, I get it. He only threw 1 pass, but it was a dime in the corner. It was a perfect ball. And so, this situation, I actually left to go pick up food since we were hosting people, and they were down 7 points. I came back home and they won. I was like, what happened? What transpired for this to happen? Mississippi State choked. Let's be honest. Why are you punting it to that returner that already's returned 3 kicks this year already in the punting? You kick it to him and then he brings back his 4th. That was so dumb. You knew going into this game, don't punt him the ball. Punt it out of bounds. You're only up 7. And right when they punt it to him, he takes it back to the house. Tied game. Momentum's gone out of Mississippi State's thing. Obviously, they turned the ball over in overtime. There was 4th and 20 or some shit like that. Texas, once they got back to, I think, within 14, that's really when you could tell that, here they come. Yeah. And then when that punt return, it was they don't even need to bring the offense out. That's where they're scoring. Big win by Texas, I will say. If they can get that offense going, and maybe if Arch doesn't play this week because of concussion protocols, you might find out that the backup should be the starter going forward. That would be a hell of a media circus if Arch doesn't start because this backup comes in. No player's supposed to lose playing time over injury, but you know what? Texas football a little different.
What I said at the beginning of the year, that if he struggles this year, could you see him moving on from Texas?
Well, and depending on how this backup plays, I get it. It was only 1 pass, right?
I know.
And a lot of people can do it. But at the same time, it was a
Right.
great ball.
It was a good ball. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and we'll have to see next week, like you said, if he's going to be fully in or if he's going to
Yeah.
be back. But yeah, it'll be exciting to see. Texas still has us on our toes.
Yes.
Well, I just also wanted to do a quick honorable mention. Illinois, if you thought that they deserved to be ranked, boy, oh boy, did they get spanked by Washington this weekend. Woo-wee. Oh, well, I hope you let that, swallow that one in, and we'll see you next week. We'll see how that conversation goes. But unfortunately, it doesn't look good for Illinois.
We'll see them next year because this is over for them.
Next year. You're right. All right, well, let's move over to NFL. It's kind of been an interesting day. We had a really intense Saturday, a bunch of games that could have gone either way. But then, in Anthony's words, the NFL was a BTA. A bunch of teams just stomped on these teams. It was not, you didn't see any upsets. There's only one close game, but let's get into it. First off, let's talk about fantasy because I'm sure this could go either way for you guys. Are you stomping or are you being stomped, Anthony?
So none of my guys have scored a touchdown yet, outside of my quarterback. Field goal kicker had 1 point for the 49ers today because they suck. And then Chicago's defense, I don't know whose dumbass said to pick them up off the waiver wire because they are bad. So right now I'm still projected to win. So I have Josh Jacobs still going tonight. And then tomorrow I have Deebo Samuel. I don't know if we finish this podcast before. I might throw Romeo Doubs instead of Deebo. I don't know yet. I guess we'll find out. But I will say it's frustrating when all the players don't score a touchdown. You don't expect to play or even compete in this week. And I'm still right there. Thank God, Bo Nix goes for 4 touchdowns because otherwise I would not even be close today.
That's unfortunate. Well, hopefully we'll see how tonight works out for you here. And then tomorrow night too. So fingers crossed. Tim, how's fantasy looking for you?
Yeah, I'm probably going to lose again this week. This is the 3rd week in a row I've played somebody, and one of their players have gone off for at least 30 to 35 points. And the person I'm playing this week, Jonathan Taylor. He had 3 touchdowns, and he didn't even – I don't even think he played hardly any of the fourth quarter. Maybe 3 minutes of it because they were blowing out Tennessee. So, yeah, I got over 100 – we're in a non-PPR league, and I got over 100 points. Usually that's a victory. You got to score probably 110 to 120 to get a victory in this league this year because they got players that we've got people teams that can score, and so I know it's got to be close, but I think he's still got a couple more players to play tonight. I think he's got Romeo Doubs and I think a kicker. Yeah, I'm like, okay, I can go to bed early tonight then. Again.
Well, and that's the thing though. It's like your team could be the one that's winning, but if they win by too much, then the backups come in, and then you're not getting any more points. Anthony, you were just telling me that was happening with you with CeeDee Lamb. You don't expect that element into it either.
Well, and that's why I will say Bo Nix even throwing the ball when they were winning by what they were. That was surprising to me. So I'll take it because I needed it. But then Joe Milton comes out, and it's like, what the hell? I need more points from CD. So
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into some of these takeaways because I would say they were interesting games, but let's get into it. Anthony, why don't you take us into the first game?
Yes, the 49ers and Texans. It was 2 tales of 2 teams right now. Texans can't get it going. 49ers are winning with all these injuries. Well, guess what? We might have found a way to how to beat the 49ers. Time of possession. The Texans had the ball for 41 minutes out of 60 minutes in this game. I think it came out to be 18 minutes and 20-some seconds that the 49ers had it. Well, you know what that does? That puts CMC on the bench. That makes him not be able to go off in this game. I played him this week. Played against him this week. I was like, uh-oh, here we go. And it was great. I think he had 9 points throughout the whole week from this game. But CJ Stroud threw for 318 yards, 2 touchdowns. Remember, no Nico Collins. So who the hell's catching the ball? Xavier Hutchinson had a big game, but he was passing the ball to everyone. Woody Marks had a great game as well. 49ers were down 16 before they had their first down. Their first down. 49ers ended the NFL record of 14 straight games without an interception, as they had an interception in this game. I will say, if you can't get your offense on the field, then you have to make sure that every drive matters, and that's what hurt the 49ers. They just got down too fast, and then they can't come back because they can't stop them. We gave Robert Saleh all this credit last week of how great that defense and everything was looking. They couldn't stop them today, and this is not yes, Texans played well today, but this is not a good offense. I don't want to hear it. That's not a good offense. 49ers just, I think, choked today. I don't know if there's a bigger game next week, if they were looking forward or whatever. But once they get back, Brock Purdy's got to come back because the Mac Jones is just not good. But good win for the Texans.
Well, yeah, it was surprising to me too because last week I was saying like their offense revolves around CMC. Like,
yep.
But if you can't get him going, then yeah, you're not going to be able to get very far.
Or if you only have the ball for 18 minutes out of the whole game, you better score every time.
You almost got to score almost about every time.
Yep.
Whether that be a touchdown or a field goal.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you have for 18 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Tim, what was your takeaway from that game?
Yeah, that's just the Texans Houston finally came around and played this for the first time probably all year.
Yep.
And the 49, I totally agree with you. They kept the ball away from CMC, and I mean with the time possession, and they just did what they needed to do. And we like you said, we were talking up Robert Saleh, that defense. Well, I think it came back now to reality.
Yeah.
I think they're missing a Bosa, missing a Warner. It's finally, and now you've got a game plan of how to beat the 49ers. And I totally agree. Purdy's got to come back. Mac Jones can get you by for 3 or 4 games. Yeah. That's about it. He's a backup. That's all he'll ever be. You've got to get Purdy back in the lineup.
That him and Pearsall. Pearsall's got to get back too. They got to get more options than Juwan Jennings.
Yes, and Bourne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Tim, well, let's pass it over to you. What was your first NFL takeaway today?
Jets in Cincinnati. Hey, how about the New York Jets? Jets, Jets. First win of the NFL schedule. One thing I did notice, this team did not give up today.
Yep.
They were down by 14 or 15 in the fourth quarter, and they kept them in the ballgame. And guess what? They didn't really have a backup, so Justin Fields had to play all day. So if you had him in fantasy, you probably did really well because they don't hardly have a backup. Breece Hall, I love that touchdown at the end where he threw to Taylor. That was sweet. I mean, that's why you get in the fourth round that tight end. He's the DN's son. He's got some strong hands. But I think the biggest thing is Cincinnati. You score 38 points. You ran the ball for 181 yards. You should have won today. Your defense, and I don't care. Also, Trader Henderson goes down. They don't have any pass rush. They don't have anything. And now I'm starting to think, I don't know if they went backwards instead of forwards with Al Golden. But I tell you what, Notre Dame, we'll take you back, buddy.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to have a serious conversation with Al Golden because I don't think this team is. I think they've taken a step back and on their defense. Plus, Flacco is still good. He got the ball to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and all that. They ran the ball with Chase Brown. You scored 38 points. You should not lose, especially to an 0-17.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was, the typical Joe Flacco, type. Like his team wasn't there supporting him either. I didn't think, at least. But
the Jets had 502 total yards today. 502.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not good. Wow.
Yep. Anthony, what were you thinking about when you were watching this?
Yeah, so this game had to happen today with the whole announcement of Mangold for the center that used to play for the Jets passing away.
Yes.
This game deserved for the Jets to win. And honestly, I do believe people want to talk about culture in the locker room and chemistry and things like this. It doesn't happen overnight. And what we saw today from the Jets is Aaron Glenn's culture coming alive, which is not giving up, playing defense when time comes to play good defense. I do laugh because the pass at the end where literally if the DB turns around, he just sees it, but he doesn't turn around and he catches the ball. I also saw the post-game press conference from Justin Fields, which was absolutely heartbreaking to see that he was in his closet, he said, crying on the floor because of all of this bad publicity and things like that. He was supposed to be benched today. He goes and gets a win for the team. You don't want to hear that stuff, but that's the stuff that nobody talks about when we go on these podcasts and go, this guy sucks or this dog.
Right.
We are a very small, but then this happens on ESPN. This happens on Twitter, Facebook, all these other places, and there's no way you can escape that stuff. Congrats to Justin Fields on that win. Congrats to Aaron Glenn for the win, and then congrats to the Jets because they deserved it today with what happened with the Mangold situation. So, but yeah, no, I think when you talk about the Al Golden situation, I don't put this on Al Golden. No, I put this on the GM. Because you want to put all this money in the offense, and today proved why you shouldn't have done that. T. Higgins has a touchdown. Congrats. Jamar Chase has a good game. Congrats. But you didn't have any money for the defense, and the defense could not step up today.
Yep. You can't rely on just scoring all the time if you can't even get the score down. So, yeah, absolutely. Well, yes, congratulations to the Jets. Anthony, why don't you take us into your second takeaway this today?
Yeah, this one's kind of a pat on my back. You know what I mean? Bills versus Panthers.
Okay.
I don't know if I've said it once or I said it twice or I've said it 100 times on this podcast. James Cook has to get utilized in that offense because when they don't, it puts too much on Josh Allen. And if you watch the beginning of this game, Josh Allen struggled. He couldn't get the ball down the field. And James Cook takes it for 60-some yards for a touchdown. He had another long touchdown. He ended up with 216 yards. Pretty much didn't even play the fourth quarter. Had 2 touchdowns with that as well. Josh Allen had 3 touchdowns as well. But that's what happens when you have other options or other weapons that you need to worry about. Josh Allen has 3 touchdowns. He has improved to 8-0 following a bye week, which I guess the coach is 9-0 following a bye week. Wow. Congrats to them on this. Bills look like how they should have been. This is the Bills that when we put them in the power rankings, the top 5, that is this team today. But again, utilize James Cook. Now on the other side, Panthers. I've been saying it, so you ain't watching it, I guess. Rico Dow needs to be your full-time back. You cannot do these split snaps. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery work because they're 2 different backs. One is a hard runner, one is a juke and jive and stuff like that to get to the end zone, right? That's not what the Panthers have. Hubbard doesn't run the ball harder or any different than Rico Dow does, so give it to one back that gets it going. They can't get any momentum going. And also, too, the Red Rocket's got to retire. He's the triple R going, or the triple R. Red Rocket retire because he got sacked 7 times today, 3 turnovers. I just, when I look at this situation with the Panthers, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but is really Bryce Young the difference? Is Bryce Young the guy that honestly was going to get benched because they couldn't see the results? I think when you look at this game, Bills came to play. They knew they had to win these games to start putting their team name in their mouth. But bad loss by the Panthers, but good win for the Bills.
Yeah, Tim, do you think this was enough redemption for the Bills to get back in the upper rankings of the power rankings, or was this just a wash of a game?
I think you didn't play anybody. This was homecoming, but you played it on the road. This was your homecoming game. They came out, they just smacked them right in the mouth. They smacked Carolina right in the mouth, and they didn't respond. And that one pass he threw to Shakir, I mean, he just went around them and then down, and there was no Panther that could catch him. Yeah, and it was just it was too easy. This was their right game coming out of the bye. This gets them more in the mindset. Let's get going. Kind of like today with the Ravens and the Bears. The Bears got beat by a third string quarterback. Yeah, I think this was a let's get it going. It's time to go because everybody else is too far out ahead of us. So
I think it keeps them in the top 5, but I think it's at fifth. Yeah, okay. I think they're right on the edge because I think there's a different team. I think there's a different team that puts them in the top 3 now. So
I don't know. When we talk about this next game, I don't know.
Well, why don't you take me into it, Tim?
Oh, let's talk about this team right behind me. Oh, boy, it was a BTA, as Anthony would say. I was a little nervous. Let me tell you, I was a little nervous when he threw that pick. Yep. And I'm like, oh, here we go. What did I say on this podcast? 4 quarters. Well, today they played 3.5. Let's just say 3.5 because their defense played good. But they was kind of bend but don't break kind of defense today. I think they gave up 24 points, but it's still. I mean, Dak is still good. I mean, that was a good, but it just didn't seem like Dallas was in it. I mean, they got up 3-0. And the next thing you know, it's what was it, 20 to 3 at one time.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were just the running attack with R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins. I think Dobbins had another 100-yard run today. Harvey had 2 touchdowns. Nix had 4 touchdowns. I mean, he's throwing to his buddy Troy Franklin like it isn't nobody's business.
Yep.
And that defense is their defense played good, not great, but good. I mean, Dak had 2 interceptions. The one that it looked like a DN caught it, and I thought he was going to run it back for a touchdown.
Got
I really
wheels.
did, but I seen one of the receivers, I don't know who it was, came up from behind. I'm like, oh, please don't fumble it.
Yeah.
But it was just an all around. I mean, they played a good game today. Finally, they put 4 quarters together, 3.5. I mean, that pick, he's still throwing the ball really. He starts out kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if he's got the jitters or what the hell's going on with him. But that pick, and I'm like, oh, here we go. But their defense held with that 3 points. And then after that, it was, I mean, they couldn't stop the run. Dallas couldn't stop the run for nothing. I mean, it was 6, 7, 8 yards every time they were running the ball. He was throwing the ball down the field really good. It was a good win that a friend of mine, I give him he wanted 3.5 points last night. I told him I'd only going to give him 3. I could have given him 30 and probably still been all right.
Yeah.
Well, before I kick this over to Anthony, I really don't know which way he's going to fall because I swear if I wasn't watching the game, it just sounded like he was constantly mad at the Denver Broncos.
Ooh.
So I am curious to actually see, is he happy with their result or is he upset with their result?
I think when you look at this game, they will put themselves number 4 in the power ranking, possibly number 3. What scares me about Denver right now is this Patrick Surtain. Like, he came out in this game, he didn't, like, whatever, the shoulder, I think it was, he had a shin problem before the game even started. That does make me nervous because that Moss got exposed today. CD, I had so many and that's why I got mad, was because there was so many times where CD should have caught the ball, but because there was pass interference, which that doesn't help me in fantasy.
Right.
I need the catches. I don't need, but Moss had, I think there was one drive where out of 3 plays, he had 2 pass interferences.
Yeah.
And the reason they won this game today was because Dak Prescott, with these in the red zone, throwing interceptions. What are we doing? And then right before half, you have the best field goal kicker in the NFL, and you're at Mile High, where we're possibly talking about beating a record, and his dumbass throws it right over the middle, where he was in double coverage, and it's a tight end. You want to throw double coverage to CD or George Pickens? I will live with that. But a tight end, come on. That defense today for Denver, if Surtain can come back, whatever that situation is, they held Ferguson to 0 catches. They held George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb to 0 touchdowns. Now, they let it passes up. Like you said, bend, don't break. Right. I put Denver probably 3 or 4. I think depending on what the Chiefs look like on Monday night, because they made a hell of a jump up to number 1. But when you look at the Eagles winning, you have all these other teams playing really well. I don't know how you don't put them in the top 3.
Yeah, well, that'll be interesting to know because you also had we had a lot of other BTAs. So did that prove them to be, pushed up into it? So we'll definitely have to see what the power rankings look like. But yeah, it was, go ahead.
And also too, a couple of teams in the power rankings didn't play this week.
True.
Detroit didn't play. So I mean and now they've got an extra game on them. So that's a different ball game too. So let's see what Detroit comes like out next week out of the bye. So I agree. I think they're in the top 5, maybe 4, but 6. When they win 5 in a row so far, 6 in a row. So I mean, that's got to have something. Yeah. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, and hey, just because I do it for Notre Dame, the only 2 losses are last-second field goals. So right back there, they're right there in that. I think tonight determines the power rankings because if Pittsburgh comes out and dominates the Steelers, or if Pittsburgh comes out and dominates Green Bay, then I put them in the top 5. But if not, if Green Bay wins, I put them in the top 5. So it depends on how much I get in there. But and the team that we didn't even talk about that should be number 1 is the Indianapolis Colts. Because damn, do they look good. Even Riley Leonard got some playing today. And guess what his first play was? Him running the damn ball because we know he can't pass it down the field.
Yeah, well, I mean, I will say you guys just named off about 8 teams to be in the top 5. So it's going to be real interesting what comes out on.
last thing I'll say too is there's definitely a disparity of the teams in the NFL right now. There's good teams and there's bad teams, and we're seeing it. We didn't even talk about it, but Thursday night we saw definitely a good team and a bad team. So if Minnesota is on any standalone night, do not watch it. That was absolutely disgusting that I saw. Like I was so excited.
I'm surprised we didn't talk about that.
Well, and they start with a pick, and it was like, okay, here we go. I was yelling downstairs. I'm working out. I'm like, hell yeah. And then by the time Lisa comes downstairs, I'm walking on the treadmill, and we come upstairs, and she turns on Amazon Prime. I said, don't turn that shit on. Don't turn that shit. I don't want to watch the Vikings anymore. So I had to watch it on my phone, and then every time I do it, I turn it right back off. I'm like, I can't watch this team. J.J. McCarthy's supposed to play next week. They got to find out what the hell they got there, because if not, you look stupid for not getting Aaron Rodgers.
Because he wouldn't have come there.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Lisa, I want to make an honorable mention for one of the games of this week. Cleveland Browns.
Yep.
Myles Garrett, five sacks in a game. Himself did 5 sacks, and his team still lost.
Yeah. It's also why he broke his helmet on the sideline.
Exactly. He threw his helmet, and yeah, he was mad. I would not be surprised if there were some rumblings that he might want out.
If you're a force to be reckoned with,
but who's going to pick up that big contract? That's the problem.
Well, and there was a time where it was supposed to be traded, and he stayed and got that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see maybe a quarterback change. Maybe you give Shedeur a chance. You've seen what Dylan Gabriel's got.
Yeah.
So and it ain't there. Let's be 100% honest. If this was the Browns of 10 years ago, Brady Quinn has already pulled, and he talked about it on a podcast. He's already been pulled. So let's go see. Let's see what Shedur's got, because it ain't working. It ain't working in Cleveland.
Now, aren't you jumping somebody? Isn't there somebody in between?
Well, he was out today, so that's why there was another person listed as a backup. But no, if Shedeur, why not? At least it brings excitement in Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's going to bring the fans. There's people in the stadium wearing that jersey, and the guy's not even playing.
Yeah.
Bring something.
Well, the owner might put a little pressure on him. Because the owner wanted him. We all know that. The owner wanted, the coaches did not want this kid.
Yeah.
Shedeur. And the owner did. He might put some pressure on him. I don't know.
And I'm sorry, one last final thing. I know we're all hyped up with the NFL. Cam Skadaboo's injury, absolutely crazy, disgusting. NFL, the Red Zone today was like, hey, just to let you know, we have not watched this yet. So if you don't want to watch it, that man had a stub for a leg, and his ankle and foot was going to the other side. Wow. Sucks absolutely worse. I mean, Jackson Dart threw his helmet because he saw it how it was. This is why when we were talking about ride it till you can, because he's done. He's done. I don't know how you come back from that, right, this year at least. But, like, you saw now with Jackson Dart without Cam. And it's going to be a long year for the Giants now.
Yeah, which is real unfortunate because you want.
And that's the second Giant I've lost this year. Yeah. You texted me and said, hey, you might want to stop picking up on Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's unfortunate because he had just started. He was he hadn't even peaked yet. He was just starting to establish himself, and then starts back from the beginning, and even past that, he's got to work his way back. So I hope the best for him, and we'll have to see who else comes out on the IR this week. But let's quickly talk about, we do have a Sunday night game because we are recording. I think it's going on or starting on right now. So we have the Packers versus Steelers tonight. They're the Bumblebees tonight. So we'll see how that works with Aaron Rodgers going against Jordan Love. And then we have one Monday night game, the Commanders versus Chiefs. So we'll see how the Chiefs perform against not Jaden Daniels, right? He's out this week. So we'll see how that works for them. All righty. Well, let's kick it over to Tim's best bets. Did he keep his name, or is he back to no name?
Well, I went 2-2. I had the Missouri one, getting the 3.5. The BYU, watch out for that team.
Yeah.
Watch out for BYU. They kind of put it to Iowa State. I had Atlanta giving the 7.5 today. What's going on in Atlanta? I mean, Kirk Cousins can't be that bad. Can he? Can he?
Yeah. And
their defense is terrible. And I had Tampa. That was they ended up bringing in Shaw at the end, or Show.
Right.
But they won. So I did go win 2-2.
I have
better known for.
I have breaking news. We're going to be the first ones to say it. LSU has fired Brian Kelly. I'm on Yahoo right now, and LSU has fired Brian Kelly. So real quick, before we finish this up, we got to talk about this. Brian Kelly being fired, no shit. It is.
Yeah.
We've been talking about it, and then here's why I want to say why he got fired too. Do you remember when they were good, and you had Odell coming back, and you had all these players wanting to be a fan of this team? That is what Brian Kelly did wrong at Notre Dame. Nobody came back. Nobody wanted to be a part of the program because he isolated it. This is what happened at LSU. This is huge because I will say it again. Recruits can transfer now because of this, and you're going to see recruits that were, going to go there are going to switch up now. It sets a team back, but LSU getting fired or firing Brian Kelly is huge.
That is
And that's
coaches.
how many coaches
in
is
3
that
weeks.
so far this year?
I think
8
that's
or 10. That's a lot of coaches getting fired mid-season. I think that nobody has any patience nowadays.
Yep.
They don't care what the buyout is neither.
Yep.
50 million, 70 million, who cares? We want to win now. I think a lot of the people that are making donations are making some of the decisions for the universities. If I'm going to put $10 million into this place, I want to see some results for my money. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of in-season firings.
Yep.
I just can't believe that's like 3 premier teams in 3 weeks. You had Penn State, you had Florida, now LSU. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Your jobs are not safe out there.
and like he just said, it's a now atmosphere. We want it now. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Oklahoma finds their coach on the hot seat eventually, because they're going to be like, we need to take a step forward if we're going to be playing for these things. But I mean, this now kind of throws the rest of the year for LSU out. I know that they were already out, but like now with the Brian Kelly, who are you going to have coming in, and who is the coach that's going to take over LSU? Is it James Franklin? Because I saw this week that Urban Meyer was in Pennsylvania. So, don't know if he might take over Penn State, but LSU's going to have to find a coach. Or, go back to Coach O. Bring Coach O back and let him run it again.
He used to smoke like 10 packs of cigarettes a day.
All right. Well, that is episode 152. We talked about college football. We had some breaking news right here at the end with Brian Kelly getting fired. And then we talked about the NFL, as it wasn't very good games today, but congrats to the Jets for their win. Also, as Nick Mangold passing away, rest in peace on his behalf. And then Mr. Tim Cook goes 2-2. I think he should keep his name because that's honest money. It still keeps the name. You go 1-3, that's when you lose it, or 0-4, definitely lose it. So we'll keep with the Tim's Best Bets going forward. If you like what we do, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We want to have a great rest of your week. We'll be back on Wednesday where we recap the Sunday and Monday night games. Have a great start to your week, and we'll talk to you soon.